retract that story. Editors are refusing to take the story down, saying, quote, "We welcome the opportunity to have a court set him straight."
All right, joining us now to talk about this, attorney Anahita Sedaghatfar. She's of counsel with the Cochran law firm.
Hello.
So, does Trump go through with this? It's sort of like a little slippery slope for him to go down that path.
That's a good question. We'll see. I mean, we know both sides are doubling down. So Trump is demanding a retraction, and he said today in that press conference, "I have evidence to prove these allegations are false." And then you have the Times saying, "Go ahead, sue us. We stand by our story. We don't care." But the problem for Trump is that even if he can prove these are false claims, it doesn't mean that he automatically prevails in a defamation lawsuit because he's a public figure. And so the bar is very, very high. He has to be able to prove in court that they acted with actual malice. And what does that mean? Either that they knew that these claims were false, or they acted in a reckless disregard for the truth, which means they never even tried to corroborate the claims.
So
it's a high bar.
Let's say you're Donald Trump's attorney. How would you advise him on this?
Well, they're doing the right thing. I mean, I think from a political perspective, we can understand why Trump is coming out there. He's being aggressive. He's saying, "I didn't do this." It makes sense. I mean, this is going to affect the election, and we know that women are a critical voting bloc, and he's doing horrible with women. But from a legal perspective, I mean, he is going to open himself up to depositions if he files a lawsuit. All of, these women will come through, they'll testify, there'll be character witnesses. He's going to have to pretty much talk about his sexual history. It's fair game if he goes through with the lawsuit. And even if he files, this won't be resolved in time for the election. It's going to take years and years and years. But I think I understand why he's taking this firm position. It makes sense.
So it potentially just goes back and forth. And even if he has the so-called evidence, still all of the details, lurid details of what may or may have happened, or those accusations continue to come out, and it just sort of drags him even further.
Yeah, it'll all come out. And I think the attorney for the New York Times made a good point. They said another part of a defamation case is you have to prove damage to your reputation. And they're saying, look, if anybody damaged his reputation, it's himself. I mean, if you hear his statements on that Access Hollywood tape that we talked about earlier, his statements to Howard Stern, his comments about Miss Universe, they're saying this publication, this story didn't damage you. You yourself have damaged your reputation. So bring on the lawsuit. We'll defend ourselves.
So is it just posturing, you think, on his part if you were representing him as an attorney?
I think it is posturing. I think if anything, he may file because he almost has to. He's made these bold allegations, but in all likelihood, he'll dismiss the case. Because think about it. Does he want to sit through a public deposition? Does he want to be asked all these questions under oath? And then if he lies and doesn't tell the truth, he's subjected to perjury. That's a crime.
You know what's troublesome about this also to me is that accusations now this day and age almost seem like convictions. Because do they ever go through with any of this at the end of the day? Is it the accusers are coming forward either to recoup money or whatever, or for political gain, whatever the case may be? Does it ever amount to anything?
I always say no. I always say that if you are branded a rapist or sexual offender, even if you vindicate yourself in court, even if you vindicate yourself in a civil lawsuit, at the end of the day, that stigma is always attached to you. So I always say that people that make false claims of sexual assault, they make it that much more difficult for true victims to be believed. So it's usually a he said, she said case, and you'll never know.
So how does he defend himself if he says they're outright lies? And there are those who say that they believe him.
Well, he says he has evidence. He said today, I'm not going to release the evidence yet. So maybe there are some witnesses that will testify. Maybe he'll do it by proving there were no witnesses. He's going to probably try to discredit their, identities, say, look, they're out for money. They're out for 15 minutes of fame. He always says he believes that the media is biased towards Clinton, and this is a conspiracy to slam him and help her get elected. So I think that's the strategy he's going to take.
All right, we will see.
There you go.
We'll see.
Anahita, thank you so much.
Another day in the world of politics.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.